Hello everyone and welcome back to another session of Elden Ring PvP and another weapon showcase. Today we are taking a look at the Onyx Lord's Greatsword. This weapon is dropped by the Onyx Lord in the sealed tunnel. I will have an image on screen showing the location. This weapon is one that I honestly had high hopes for. I saw the stats, I saw the skill, I saw the damage type and the amount of damage. And I was really hoping that I'd be using this on my Muscle Mage build as a regular choice. It seemed perfect at a glance. In appearance looks similar to the Arched Sword from Dark Souls 2, which is a weapon that I always loved the look of. And I was excited for this thing. And then I started to use it. And all of my hopes were expertly dashed. So let's go ahead and start off with the basics on this weapon. This weapon requires 20 strength, 16 dexterity, and 16 intelligence to wield, and it weighs 11.5 units. The skill of the weapon is Onyx Lord's Repulsion, and you are stuck with it because it is a somber weapon. At plus 10 it will have a physical base damage of 289, a magic base damage of 186, a B scaling in strength, E in dexterity, and B in intelligence. So, this weapon, like I said, at a glance, looks great for a Muscle Mage build. That even strength dexterity scaling is phenomenal. The high base damage, it's great. And then, everything else about the weapon kind of just falls apart. So, on the PvE side of things, real quick, this weapon is going to be just like the other weapons that are a gravity-type weapon. They will deal 20% more damage against gravity-type enemies, so that would include Estelle, the Falling Star Beasts, and the Onyx and Alabaster Lords. So that's fine. That combined with the high damage is actually pretty good. It makes this weapon a very good choice for dealing with those enemy types. However, that's about where the good stops. So, on the PvP side of things, like I said, the damage, it's pretty decent. The moveset, it's okay enough. It's okay at chasing people down. All of its attacks are wide sweeps, so if someone is rolling to your side, strafing to your side, running away from you, towards the side, you have options for chasing them down or for dealing with them. That said, as far as a weapon for chasing people down is concerned, it's definitely far from being the top choice. It's really just not ideal for it because thrusting weapons are so good at it in this game. Beyond that, there's really not much else to say about this thing. It has damage, and that's about all that it has. Moving into the cons, that's really where everything else is. So, I think the biggest issue I have with it, honestly, is the skill. The skill of the weapon, it's got issues. So, with this skill, Onyx Lord's Repulsion is an extremely short-range area of effect. It's kind of not great. It could be made better by just the addition of having a bit more hyper armor. That's really, truly all it needs. When you thrust the sword into the ground, you can hit your opponent, and then they're able to roll away and not get hit by the main blast, so there's that. It's not a combo. And then the blast itself is pretty darn short and has a long recovery, leaving you open to being backstabbed. So if they dodge the thrust and then they dodge the blast, then you're gonna get backstabbed. It just kind of is what it is. Aside from that, though, the skill, it's just in every way worse than Gravitas, and it's also worse than Waves of Darkness, and that's unfortunate, because you're stuck with this thing, and it's kind of just not good. So, that's the skill issue with the weapon. Aside from the skill issue with the weapon, the moveset is not anything special. Curved greatswords in this game, I feel like they're just not good in comparison to how they used to be. There are a couple of exceptions to the rule with that. Clearly, the Bloodhound Fang is an exception to the rule there because it does have extremely high damage, it's got bleed, it's got a great skill, and that's all well and good. But other than that, curved greatswords are a bit of a disappointment in my opinion. A big reason for that, and one of the big issues with this weapon as well, is the poise damage. The poise damage on them is the same as a regular greatsword. That's unfortunate, because this is also a weapon class that as a whole is slower than greatswords. The frame data shows that curved greatswords on basically every single attack for every single curved sword are slower than greatswords on average. So as far as just looking at the numbers, as far as that is concerned, they on paper are worse. They are slower, they deal the same poise damage, and there are greatswords that are capable of dealing more damage or at least having a more viable moveset. So it's a bit of a shame, but it is what it is. Other than that though, there's really not much else to say about this thing. There are ways that it could be improved in patches in the future, like I said. Just having more poise, having more hyper armor with this thing on its skill would be huge for it. Maybe increasing the swing speed of it a little bit, that would be great. Aside from that though, a neat idea would be if you could charge the R, or not the R2, but charge the skill. And then the longer you charged it, the larger the area of effect for the blast could be. That would be pretty cool. I would really like that. But that's a bit of a pipe dream, so it is what it is. Either way, there is one fight left after this one. Let me know if I was a bit harsh on this thing. It has the damage, it's got an okay moveset, but that's about all it's got, and I just think that's disappointing. At this point with these games, I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with expecting a little bit more from the weapons that are special, the somber weapons, the twinkling titanite weapons. I feel like those weapon types are made to be unique and have something special and cool going on with them. And when they don't, I just feel like it's disappointing. But anyway, never mind me, never mind my ranting. Let me know what you all think. Stick around for the last fight. I think you guys will really enjoy the way that it ends. I know that I got a laugh out of the way the last fight ends, so I had to include it. Thank you all for stopping by. Please do all the YouTube things for me. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and I will see you all next time.